are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Well, my name is Rose, and I'm excited to work with you. Have you been to counseling before?
I did a while back ago, a little bit.
Okay. All right. So you're kind of familiar with the process of counseling.
Yes.
Okay. Well, before we get started, I'd like to go over with you the informed consent that was provided with you earlier, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Okay. Also, if you have any questions at any point of me explaining this to you, you can always stop me, and I'll gladly answer the questions that you have. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Again, like I said, my name is Rose, and I'm a student at UHCL at the Counseling Training Center. If for any reason you need to reach that department, our address and contact information is on the consent form that was provided. And like I said, I am a student counselor in training at a master's level graduate degree, and I am working on a master's in clinical mental health. Because of this, I am under the supervision of Dr. R.J. Davis, who is the faculty supervisor of the program. So, if at any point during your sessions, your treatment, you have any questions, you can always reach out to him. I also wanted to let you know that I will be sharing some information about my cases with him because he is my supervisor, and we all want to make sure that we provide to you the bestest and safest treatment to each and every other client, especially to you. However, we all follow confidentiality, and anything we talk about here is protected. But there are some limitations which I'll be explaining to you later on. Do you have
Okay.
any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So, as you may know, counseling has both risk and benefits. During our session, we may discuss some unpleasant events that have happened throughout your life, which can bring unpleasant feelings back. But another benefit is in counseling is that it can help you build relationships with others and help you understand your future goals, values that you have in general. You are not alone in this process. And if there's something that you don't want to talk about, or you feel uncomfortable, or you want to talk about in another session in the future, just let me know, and that's totally okay with us.
Okay.
Going back to confidentiality, I will edit that out. There are some limits. If I do suspect any child abuse or adult abuse, I will have to reach out to my supervisor, and we probably will have to go to outside resources if anything is suspected. We do this because we want to make sure that we provide the best care for you and that everyone around you and yourself are safe. But that would be the reason why it will be broken. Another limit is that we believe if we believe that you are at harm of yourself or others, we would have to also break that confidentiality. And lastly, if I am ever subpoenaed by court or a judge, I would also have to do that. However, if any of the above scenarios were to happen, I will let you know and get informed authorization from you as well. So far, do you have any questions about that?
No, it all sounds good.
Okay. What I mentioned before is that since we are a training counseling clinic, all of our services are free of charge. You have no financial responsibilities with our clinic. However, we do have a no-show policy. We do ask that you provide us with a 24-hour notice if you need to cancel or reschedule any appointments. If you do miss more than two appointments, unfortunately, we will have to terminate our services to you. Also, because we are in a school setting, we follow university calendars for counseling services. This means that we only offer services during the fall, spring, and summer semesters. If you do need services between those semesters, we can always let you know about other agencies outside the school setting. Lastly, if there's any emergencies, you can always contact 911, or you can go to the nearest emergency room. If you're ever in a crisis, we have provided you with a hotline in our informed consent form, which I will gladly give to you again. Like I said, that's only if you're in a crisis. So I know this is a lot of information, but do you have any questions, concerns, anything I can help you with?
No, it all sounds good.
Okay. All right. And then to get into the session, what brings you into counseling today?
Um, I guess you could say I'm feeling a little, maybe overwhelmed, the word. So I'm a single mother. I have three kids, one 15-year-old, um, 7-year-old, and a 6-month-old.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, I also have a sick grandmother who just had a stroke. So I have a little bit on my plate, and then at the same time, I'm trying to hold together two jobs. I have one in fast food industry. It's my morning shift, and then my afternoon shift. I'm a housekeeper at a hotel. So lately, because of COVID and everything, it just seems like it's getting to be a little bit too much, and I'm feeling a bit of anxiety because of the whole situation with having to do my jobs and also try to take care of my children and my grandmother, and dealing with their situations as far as like having kids go back to school and doing online learning, um, keeping on top of my 6-month-old. It kind of keeps me up at night a little bit. It's just feeling like it's a lot.
Right. Okay. Well, we definitely have a lot to discuss. Before we get into that, though, what are some changes you're hoping to make in general?
Well, I just want to be able to stabilize um, a good support group, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe somebody to help me with the children, to help me with my grandmother, and then also maybe once that part's done, to be able to establish better relationships between me and the children's father, as well as getting a little bit more stability in our lives, you know,
Okay.
with everything that's going on.
Right. Okay. And are there things that you know that have helped you in the past or that will help you with your situation?
Well, when I was in therapy when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
my counselor would assign me tasks to do throughout the week
Okay.
on, different things, different topics that we talked about during that session. And she wanted me to be more aware of stuff, just take note of my actions and my emotions throughout the week and then
Mm-hmm.
report back to her for our
Okay.
next session. I felt like that kind of helped.
Yeah. Okay. And would you feel comfortable if I also provided you with like support groups for single mothers, childcare resources, stuff like that?
Yes, definitely. It would definitely help me.
Yeah.
With the two jobs, it's a little hard to be able to keep on top of making sure that, my children are being looked after, and then making sure that my grandmother's also doing okay.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely do that. Have you sought out counseling for this specific situation before?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Would you mind telling me a little bit more about your life, like what exactly entailed about it, about your kids, your job, just.
Um, well, with that, right now, it's just a little hard because with the newborn, um, I'm not really getting too much sleep either because
Mm-hmm.
she's constantly up in the middle of the night. I have to feed her, have to change her,
Mm-hmm.
and then once I do get her settled, then my other two girls, I have to get one of them ready for school, and luckily the 15-year-old can, kind of manage. But I still would like to be more present in her life because I feel like, I don't want her to fall behind or anything. And then during that time too, I'm trying to keep an eye on my grandmother because she still needs help to the bathroom. So she'll have this little call system where she'll buzz us and we'll go and help her. And then, of course, with feeding and everything, it's kind of like having a second newborn because she's still having a lot of trouble with, mechanical functions and stuff like that. And then having to do all that and get ready for my fast food shift in the morning. Um, it gets a little hard because it is Monday through Friday. And then once, I jump from there, I have to go into um, my housekeeping position in the afternoon, which also gets to be a little harder because even though I know my older daughter, is on top of most of the things in the afternoon, you still want to be there for your kids and make sure that, they're doing their homework and they're eating. And even though it's not as busy as my first job, I still worry, making sure that, someone's looking after them and they're not getting into trouble. Just basic concerns like that. So it does make me feel a little bit overwhelmed with, and I also want to be paying attention to my jobs, even though they may not seem that important. It's what's providing my income for my family, which is what is ultimately important to me. So it's it's not too bad considering other people and what they have going on right now, but it's feeling like it's a little bit much at the moment.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned that you like to be there more for your kids. How do you think that would make you feel if you were able to do that?
Oh, it would be so amazing because I want to be more involved. I want to make sure of all the events that are going on in their life. Like, I don't want to miss anything. And with my newborn, I feel like, I want to see her take her first steps and, her first words. And I feel like with being so busy and so much that I have to take care of, that, little things I commit. I mean, they're not really little. I mean, to other people maybe, but to me, it's what's important to me. And then along with, my middle child, I want to see her grow up into a young woman. My older child, I mean, she's still a baby, even though she's 15. It's her last years in school, or at least in high school, that, I want to be there for her, make sure, she's got her head on straight and that she's looking into going to college and all that, all these important milestones that, I just feel like if I'm not there for that, that maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm a failure as a mother.
Okay. So you just want to feel like you're always there for your kids. You want them to look up to you, and I'm pretty sure they'll see what a great mom you will be. Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with your grandmother?
It's always been good. She's always been that strong woman type. Hispanic families, we always, you know, what's the word? I don't know. I feel like Hispanic women are just super strong women. So we always have that, can do attitude that, most things won't stop us. So it kind of, it hurts to see her this way. And I know it upsets her as well because I know she wants to do a lot for herself, but she can't. And it upsets her that she feels like she's putting us through this, even though it's not something that she could control. But I'm more than happy. I mean, our relationship has always been really good, and so yeah, I'm more than happy to help her during the situation because I know she would do the same for me or anyone in our family. So our relationship is really really good. It's a little hard right now just because of all the extra care that we have to do for her and just the emotional state it puts her in as well as us.
Right. Yeah. That must be tough for you.
It is just a little.
And would you like mind telling me about your job a little bit? Like, what do you do?
Sure. So, In the mornings, I work at it's this little place off of Westheimer. It's called the House of Pie.
Mhm.
I'm a waitress there, and so because it's I'm not famous, but kind of popular. It gets really busy in the morning shift,
Mhm.
so it's always a little hectic. We have, all these people that come in for breakfast and everything, and so lots of orders, very, very like
Yeah.
just lots of clientele.
Mhm.
And it's not necessarily hard if you've done it for a while, but there are
Mhm.
some mornings, especially lately, because of COVID, there are people coming in complaining about having to wear a mask and just
Mhm.
being really inconsiderate. And then, that also worries me too, because as careful as everyone's trying to be, you don't know who's coming in from outside and if
Mhm.
they're being as careful or considerate. And so, that worries me about bringing that to my family,
Mhm.
just because I see so many people and so many people come into my work of business, and it's the same with my afternoon job um, as the housekeeping, because I'm cleaning up after people, but I do about maybe, I would say, 10 rooms a night. And so, I'm not sure who's been in those rooms. And,
Mhm.
you know, uh, it, they can just leave behind anywhere. And it's my job too, especially now, as important as it is to make sure I clean every part of that room. So it does get a little stressful just because I'm concerned, for my own health, but also in doing a good job and making sure that I leave my rooms clean and everything. So that's just added a little extra, I guess, anxiety to everything. Just because I don't really know what I'm walking into
Yeah.
every day, and then I
Mhm.
have so much contact with so many people. It just it makes me a little bit more nervous now.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot going on right now. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, we talked a lot about a lot of good topics today, and I am confident and I'm very hopeful that with the appropriate strategies and exercises that we can do together as a team, we laid a good ground for us to work on. And I'm hopeful that for any future treatments or future sessions that we have together, we can build a successful growth for you and development for you as well.
Yeah.
Hmm. And yeah, so for our next session, we'll definitely go more in depth into the topics that we talked about today, if that's okay with you.
Mhm.
Hmm. And yeah, it was nice talking to you today. It was very nice meeting you, and I look forward to our future session.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
All